Okay, today I'm going to show you how to make a one-pot Mexican chili rice, and this is perfect for any type of family gathering or event. Anyways, let's get into it. Okay, let's get into it. So we're going to start off with some garlic cloves. We've got about 5 to 6 garlic cloves there. You're going to crush them, peel them, undress them, whatever you want to do to them, and chop them up just like this. They don't have to be like minced, but you want it small enough. That's why we're going to do this kind of cross chopping as well. Move it to the side. So another garlic fell off. And then at this point, you're going to rip open a green bell pepper, remove the stem, and then remove the whites because we don't like the whites. Do not say that outside the context of this video. I will get in trouble. Basically, the white part of the pepper, get rid of that, and then we're going to cut it, dice it, can you see, into this size. That's like a medium small size, if you know what I mean. Once you've done that, you're going to get one large white onion, peel it, and then just chop off one side, because we're going to do little slits like this, cross chop it, and then we're going to dice it again into like this medium small size. Once you've done all of that, get rid of that root of the onion or the nipple, or whatever you can call it. That's all the prep work done, by the way. Once you've done that, you're going to put this pan on heat. That's a very good pan, by the way. You should get it. Splash of oil, and then put beef mince in. That's 500 to 600 grams of beef mince. You're going to cook this for 2 to 3 minutes, and then once it starts browning, just like this, can you see it? Yeah, all the fat releasing, and now at this point I'm going to shift it to the side and remove 90% of the fat. You don't have to do that. I prefer doing that because, well, it just makes my dish smell like very fatty, and I don't like that. Now at this stage, once the meat is browned, you're going to just get it, scoop it up basically, and then put it to the side. Okay, we're going to add that back in later on. Then you're going to add another good splash of oil into the pan. I say a good splash, quite a bit, about 2 to 3 tablespoons of oil, and then put the onion straight in. Add a small pinch of salt because that's going to bring out a lot of the moisture, and you're going to cook this for about 2 to 3 minutes until it looks like this, a little translucent. Once you got to that stage, you're going to put in the minced garlic, and then you can cook this for another maybe 2 to 3 minutes, could be 5 minutes. You're going to add a splash of water just to prevent burning, and once it looks like this, just a bit browned, you're going to go in with the pepper, and you're going to cook that through for another minute or so. At this stage, we're going to go in with our pre-cooked mince, and then 1 tin of kidney beans. Now I've washed it, drained it, so you're going to mix that all through and cook this for 2 minutes. Once you got to that stage, we're going to add in crushed tomatoes. I use this Muti brand. It's a good brand. I'm not sponsored, it's just a very good brand. So you're going to add that in with a splash of water, mix that all through, and then we're going to go in with 2 tablespoons of tomato puree. That's going to add a bit more depth of flavor to the chili that we're making right now. So you're going to add in a large pinch of salt, and then a lot of black pepper. I like a lot of pepper, it adds so much flavor. So I'm going to add a lot, and then we're going to do spices. So I've got 1.5 teaspoon of garlic powder, 2 teaspoon of coriander powder, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1 teaspoon of cumin powder, half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and you can add a bit more if you want. And finally 2 teaspoon of paprika. Throw that all in there, and then add a sprinkle of red chili flakes, dried parsley, and a good sprinkle of a dried oregano. Mix that all through, and you want to cook that off for maybe 2 minutes until all them spices start to cook like that. And at this stage, you're going to add in 1 mug of boiling water. Now I added like a bit less first, and I added a bit more at the end. So you're going to add that all in, bring it up to heat, and then simmer this on low heat for 15 minutes, and then a further 5 minutes on a low to medium heat. In the meantime, we're going to get this lime, break all the bones by rolling it like that, and cut it in half. We're going to need only half of it. And then we got 1 green chili that we're going to slice thinly, and then a large handful of fresh coriander. Once you've done this, you remove the lid, and your mince should like still be a bit watery but start becoming a bit more tender. You're going to add in the lime juice, and then you're going to go in with the fresh coriander as well, and then mix it all through and cook this for another minute or 2. And this is basically chili, so you can put this on anything. So you have a bit of a taste test, and flipping delicious, honestly. So you can put this on rice, pasta, whatever you want to have it with, on nachos, anything like that. What we're going to do is increase the heat, and we're going to start reducing all of the moisture in the pan just like this. And once it looks like that, we know we can put the water in. So I'm going to go in with 1.5 mugs of boiling water, and then you're going to bring that back up to heat. Don't ask me about the thermodynamics and the science of that, man. I don't know how that works. It's supposed to already be hot. And then you want to go in with 1.5 mugs of basmati rice, which I've washed 3 to 4 times until the water runs clear, and I've soaked it for 45 to 60 minutes. Add in a good amount of salt to compensate for the rice, and then you're going to mix this through, and then increase the heat to high, and cook this for about 2 to 4 minutes until all of the moisture in the pan evaporates. And then once you've done that, you're going to turn off the heat right away so it doesn't burn. Can you see? It's dry now. So I'm using the back end of a spoon to create some steam holes, because that's going to help with steaming. That's how they work. And then top it off with the green chili that we sliced earlier. Once you've done that, you're going to put on this foil. Be careful because it's very hot. Burn my flipping fingertips, man. Place a tablecloth on top of this, and basically just check, make sure that the foil has not come loose. Place a lid on there, tightly fit, that's why I push down, and then fold the cloth up so it doesn't burn when you're steaming. So you're going to steam this on low heat for 15 minutes. Okay, once you've done that, turn the heat off as I've done there and let this rest for a further 15 to 20 minutes. In the meantime, I just like roasted the chili because I'm gonna make like a rice bowl. I'll show you what the rice bowl looks like. It's actually very good. After resting for about 15 to 20 minutes, this is what it's gonna look like. Are you ready? Are you ready? Look at that. Perfect rice. Can you see it's curved? It's curved. It's just nice. So you're gonna fluff it all up like this. Now there might be some bits that like clump together. It's not like stuck together. It's because there's not a lot of oil in the pan. Top it off with fresh coriander and this final product. Now I'm just going to plate up this rice bowl. So you're going to put plenty of the rice on there. And then we're going to go cucumber, some tomato, that roasted chili, some lime wedges. And then salt and pepper the cucumber and tomato. Top it off with some fresh coriander. And this is final product 2.0. Okay, now that the dish is done, I'm going to share with you some tips and tricks on how to make this entire thing perfect. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is cooking the rice. So there's actually two methods in cooking the rice, and the first one being the pilau method, and that's what I use. But it works a lot better when your dish is a bit more oily. Now the way it works is you soak your rice for 45 to 60 minutes, and then once you're ready to put the rice into the dish, you're going to use a 1-to-1 ratio. So you use 1 cup of rice or 1 mug of rice to 1 cup or 1 mug of water. So when you're ready to cook, you put the water into the pan first, you bring that up to heat, then you put the rice in, and then you cook it on high heat for 2 to 4 minutes until all of the water evaporates. And then once you got to that stage, take the heat off, put everything on like the foil, the cloth and everything, then steam it on low heat for 15 to 20 minutes. Then take the heat off and let it sit for another 15 minutes, and then at that stage you can fluff the entire thing up and you got delicious rice. Now in this case my rice was a tiny bit overcooked in the sense that it wasn't sticking together, like some grains were broken. But again, it was fine, it was not mush. But what's the second method? The second method is not soaking the rice. Now if you're going to do this, let's say for example in this recipe I used 1.5 mugs of rice. You're going to use 2.5 mugs of water. And the way this method works is that you're going to wash the rice anyway like normal 3 to 4 times until it runs clear, because that's going to like get rid of a lot of the starch. Nothing's going to stick together that way. And then when you're ready to put it into the dish, what you can do is you get the rice, put it straight into the dish, cook it for like a minute with all of the spices, and then at that stage you're going to put the water in, bring it up to heat as quick as you can. It's going to be boiling water, by the way. You put the lid on, put it on low heat and steam it for 15 to 20 minutes. Keep an eye on it. Okay, turn the heat off, let it sit for 15 minutes, and then you're ready to fluff it up and enjoy. So the second tip is, before putting the rice in, there's a little bit of prep work to do. And what I mean by the prep work is, in this particular instance, the dish itself is a bit more fluid. So basically you've got the tomato in there, it's a more of a watery dish. So what you want to do is, after you've cooked all the mince and everything, increase the heat and start reducing a lot of that excess moisture. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is when you put the water in and you put the rice in, the ratios will be a bit off if there's already water in the pan from like the tomato and all of that. And then it might make your rice a bit stodgy. You don't want that. Now, the third point I want to make is the fat that comes off of the meat. Now, a lot of you are going to say, oh, you can just cook the meat with the onions and the peppers and then the fat will come off and you can just cook that fat off. If you believe that you can do that, then you do it. I don't like that. So my preference is cook the meat till it's browned first, get rid of like 90% of the fat and then put it to the side. Cook the onions, peppers, garlic, and then put the mince back in. And then that way it doesn't have that fatty smell, and if I want to put a bit more oil in the pan, I can do that when I'm cooking the onions and so on. And if you don't like that method, then mind your own business, innit? No, I'm joking, man. Basically just do whatever the hell works for you. For me, that works, draining the fat. If it don't work for you, then don't do that. Now the fourth point I want to talk about is the mincemeat, staying on the topic of mincemeat. You can use lamb mince, beef mince, mutton mince, that kind of mince works. Chicken mince, turkey mince, I would stay away from because they're so lean. But can you use the lean red meat mince? Like lean lamb, lean beef, lean mutton? Yes, you can. But the main thing is make sure that the mince is from red meat, like beef, lamb, mutton, not chicken, not turkey. Okay? That was a lot, but I hope it was very comprehensive and informative.